I'm excited because when I came up with the idea for this podcast, my guest today is one of the reasons why I wanted to do it in the first place. I had always dreamed of the two of us hosting like a podcast for Playboy Radio or something like that. And I finally have her in studio. If she lived here, she would be my permanent co-host, but she is here. She's one of my best friends in the world. This is Miss CJ Sparxx. That's what we're going to call her. I can't tell you her
yeah.
I can't tell you her government name.
You would always do that to me. Scream it over the microphone. And then I'm like, that's what my mom calls me. I can't shake my titties to that. That's horrible.
That's incredible. So one of the things that I love about having CJ on, and hopefully later we can get Kylie Myers on here, Sarita Natividad, is that these girls are very, very intelligent, extremely funny. CJ and Kylie are probably two of the funniest people I've ever met in my entire life, but they don't always get an opportunity to show it.
Yeah.
When you're performing, right? When I say performing on social media, when you're doing your IG story. A lot of times when I hang out with Kylie, she'll start posing, and I keep waiting for her to start laughing.
Yeah.
But she's working.
She always looks like she's on the verge of she looks like, what I really like about Kylie is she looks like she's in on the joke that she's kind of playing on everybody else.
But she's
always on the verge.
That's why she looks like that.
And she's always on the verge of laughing.
And I feel like I'm the only, like the photographer doesn't get it, but I do. It's so funny when I watch her. But yeah, it's like that. There's this secret underground where a lot of guys have this feeling about these girls. And then I talk to, and you've mentioned this before, it's kind of the act that you have to put out there for some of the audience.
Yes. I luckily don't have to act too hard because I'm not really all that smart. However, I'm getting there, but there is a lot to do with if a girl maybe talks too much or if she's a bit of like even a know-it-all, then I do believe that men and sometimes other people, women in general, they'll get kind of intimidated because it kind of feels like if you have big fake tits, you're not allowed to be smart.
Well, none of those motherfuckers are going to be listening to this podcast. I will tell you that right now.
God.
They are not going to be listening. They will have turned off by this point.
The tits are talking. Oh my God, run away.
For sure. So when you and I first met, I'm trying to think, the very first time we met would have been the 2015 Maxim party right before that.
No, we met at a photo shoot.
Yeah, but the photo shoot was the same weekend as the Maxim party.
Okay, you're right. I think we all went to the party either later on that night or the night after.
Right. So the party was on a Saturday night. I think we met the Friday before that.
Yeah.
It was a photo shoot. I didn't know anything about you.
Yeah.
Right. And I met you there, and then we got into a conversation about some self-help books that we had read before. But anyway, let's talk about that's how we met. Now I remember fun, crazy CJ. Okay?
Oh my God, yeah.
And she's still fun.
Such a hot mess.
But there was a difference. This CJ was a different CJ. And if you want to...
Multiple personalities.
And the thing is, we can talk about that CJ in the past and laugh about it. It's fine, because what has been the transition for you in the last 2 years?
Well, I had to get sober. Otherwise, I was just going to be a lady sitting alone in my room watching Netflix comedy specials and railing lines off my computer alone.
How do you rail lines off your computer? Oh, you put the mirror on the keyboard.
No, a mirror. What? That's an extra step. What?
Oh, you put
it on the
next to the trackpad. That's where you snort it. Oh, that's how you
like moving.
I did not know that's how you snort cocaine off of a laptop.
Yes.
I'm just now learning this right now.
Alone at like 4:30 a.m. in the morning, watching like that man that does like his stomach. He takes his shirt off. I was watching that guy and crying, railing lines.
Was there a moment where you're like, we're gonna change this up?
Yeah.
Was there a few attempts?
Moment.
Was there a few attempts what was the moment first off?
I just remember I didn't even want to get dressed up to go out. Because like when we met, it was how many years prior to me getting sober, do you think? Because you have some crazy videos of me. You have one of me trying to get my apartment where you're like, CJ, what are you doing? Your apartment's over here. What are you doing? And I'm like, and I'm like walking down, I'm like probably knocking on neighbors' doors.
Yeah.
So you knew me for a few years prior, but.
So I mean, this is 2015, so it's been 6 years.
Yeah.
So the first 4 years,
it's been that long.
First 4 years. And the thing is, I'm uniquely suited to this because I don't drink or do any drug. I've never even tried any drugs. But all my friends, when I host these parties, when I go to these different parties, when I go with my friends to the Maxim party, I don't expect them to stay sober.
Right. Well, I mean, first off, kind of what I'm learning to. Drugs don't even necessarily inherently have to be bad. Like I was just using them wrong. So, I mean, I don't like to alienate people. Like if you use drugs and you do it well, like there's a huge influx of ketamine and mushrooms going around, especially people love hallucinogens. Like people will casually take mushrooms and go to like a comedy show.
Yeah.
And then they go to dinner after and then they go home and go to sleep. So if you can do it like that, that's great. I just can't. I need all the mushrooms, all the cocaine, all the ketamine, all the alcohol.
So
everything.
it doesn't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It goes 1, 2, 10.
Yeah. A 10. Yeah. 100. immediately. Yeah. And so for me, I wasn't doing it so well. And I remember thinking, I'm not going to be able to do my modeling because I don't even care to get dressed up and go out. That's such a big thing in LA and even in Vegas.
Yeah.
You know, girls want to get dressed up. We want to get done up to the nines. We want to put our red bottoms on. We want to have the titties out with the bandage dress. We want to have the big fake eyelashes. And we want to go out and have a good time. That's kind of like the quintessential girl night. When everybody thinks girl night, that's what we're doing. And I got to the point where I didn't even want to do that.
Yeah.
I was like, that's such an unnecessary extra step. Why don't I just rail lines at home and Postmates myself more alcohol, so I don't even have to leave the house, and I don't even have to talk to people.
You know, you can't Postmates alcohol in Nevada. I don't think
you can Postmates alcohol in West Hollywood,
in
sweetheart.
West Hollywood, you can do it? I didn't know that.
Surely can.
That's incredible.
You have to do more lines so you can stay up until it opens.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so the thing is, you and I got to know each other, and I immediately clicked with you. I understood, almost like a relative, like a long lost relative. I knew from the first, like, here's, and I've told you this before. I know a lot of men who like having sex with women, but don't like women. Most of my friends are women, right? You obviously, right? You've made that assertion. So when I listen to you, like I could sit there and listen to you for hours. I loved it. You're just a great storyteller. And I remember like sometimes I watch you and some of these other girls online, and like none of it's there.
Yeah.
None, like the stuff that I hear that's so great when we play Never Have I Ever in Jamaica. I never get to see that shit on their IG ever, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like Sartain Natividad is one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life. I hardly ever see it on her IG. You know,
a lot of different women don't even speak.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that. Like when I was doing my webcamming, so I was doing the webcamming Streammate thing for many years prior to OnlyFans, I wouldn't even speak. I remember I would charge people extra to hear my voice for me to talk, because it's just kind of like, what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Right.
Just put on a tiny bikini, dance around, and then that's it. The job's usually done after that. So It's really interesting to see that play out now into Instagram and on the internet, because the girls that are speaking and that have more of a personality, now they're the ones that are really raking in the big bucks.
Yes.
Because they have clothing sponsorships, or they're working with traveling companies because they have built this huge fan base actually based on their personality. Yeah, they're almost always hot on one level or another, but their personality is kind of like what helps upsell them. This is shocking to me. I would have never guessed in a million years.
So when you think about it, if you and I do, let's say we have 100,000 people who watch our IG story, but those are only 15-second clips. If we have 10,000 people or even 5,000 people that will listen to us 3 hours on a podcast, or if we could even get 10 minutes on a reel, or something like that, now
10 minutes is almost long form.
Yeah, 10 minutes is long form. So if you can do 10 minutes on a reel, but people are willing to tune into every single one of your reels, you as a spokesperson That's so huge. Much more powerful, and you're so much more palatable. The thing that I found just from switching to podcasting and talking to some of my friends who are doing this, and also John, who runs the studio, the fact that businesses want to be associated with this form of content as opposed to TikTok. TikTok is different. It's fun, or IG story. That they would rather advertise on this. I
think there's a bigger buy-in.
Yeah.
Because they're getting to know you little by little. You're kind of like spoon feeding them little by little by little. I guess every episode would almost kind of be like how Instagram used to be back in the day with a post. You could spoon feed little by little. This is me in the morning. This is me in the afternoon. This is me in the evening. And the people are getting so used to, oh my God, what's CJ doing? Is she doing her morning routine? Now they don't have that so much with the algorithm. So I think especially like YouTube, which I'm assuming this is where this is going. Or
we will be on Spotify.
Okay.
That's a great tag right there. You can subscribe on Spotify. You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts. You can subscribe on YouTube. Please subscribe on all three and leave me a rating, and go ahead and make some comments about this incredible episode. But yeah, you guys can find us there. Just look up the Michael Sartain Show. I'll tell you one thing, CJ, this is going to happen because I know you have one coming out. So I am a podcast listener, about as podcast listener as you can get. On Audible, I'm at world record. I listen to so much Audible. But as far as podcasts, this is what I do. Every moment of the day, I'm listening to podcasts. The first time I saw my logo on a podcast on Apple Podcasts, bro, it was a mind fuck. It was like Inception. It was like, that's really me. Now, I've been interviewed like 30, 40 times, but to actually see that this was my podcast on there and how easy it was to upload, I was like, and how many people told me how stupid I was for not doing this a long time ago. It's crazy. It really is, because to me, that's where the experts are. Right. I'm on the same, when you think about this, you and me are about to have a conversation today on the same platform, the Apple Podcasts or Spotify, that the Nobel Prize winner Roger Penrose had a conversation with Joe Rogan about quantum mechanics and the origin of the consciousness. We're on the same platform they are.
Right,
we're on the same platform with Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about cosmic queries. We're on the same platform as them, and you forget about that and how awesome that is. This can go potentially as far as you want,
right,
and really get to know you. What was now you met me on a bunch of red carpets, right? And when you think about that. What was I trying to do? I was trying to get a lot of girls who had never spoken in front of a camera before to speak. And it was hard. With you, it's not hard. You're on a level of extroversion, you are a 10 out of a 10. There's no problem whatsoever. But some girls, it's definitely hard.
Yeah, they freeze up.
And it made me a better interviewer dealing with girls who literally did not want to speak on camera. But I made them talk on camera, and I learned how to make them more comfortable. You happen to have a lot to talk about. Go back to sobriety. This is, I know it's funny. Were you ever kind of lit on the carpet with me?
100%.
Yeah?
Yeah. I wouldn't want to go to these things if I wasn't like already. I was like in the car, like throwing them back.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's lots of interviews I don't remember.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. You and I probably done 20.
At least.
Maybe more.
Here in the United States.
Yeah.
Not counting the ones that we've done in other countries.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised you didn't see like one eyeball just like.
No, I never knew. That's incredible. I guess
really?
you get good at. Yeah, I can tell at the end of the night when you're drunk, but I can't sometimes, like when we're hanging out, just the two of us.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell other times. Now here's another question. This is something that I've always found like to be very interesting. So like I said before, most of my friends are females, and I asked them, one of the questions I always ask is just from an academic standpoint, you meet a guy and how long do you go from when you meet the guy to you realize that you want to have sex with him, or at least it's a possibility. And then when you have sex with him, the percentage of the time that you are inebriated. And what would you guess?
Okay, so before I got sober, that was the only way I had sex. That's actually that's interesting that you even thought to touch on that, because I didn't even realize how much. Can we say the F word on here?
You say whatever. Yeah, we're on Facebook. It's fine. No, we're not on Facebook. We're on YouTube. You can say whatever you want.
Okay, so how much, I don't even know why I wanted to say the F word. I guess because I was fucked up. I was so every single time. Luckily, I wasn't somebody that would get drunk and sleep around. So, I mean, I'm grateful to not have really had so many of those experiences. I never had like somebody take advantage of me or anything like that. But that would be the only way that I would know how to have sex. Like I could let go and loosen up. It was so
and it'd be someone
crazy.
You liked.
Somebody
you really liked. Yes.
I would know in my sober mind that I absolutely want to have sex with this person. And by the way, I believe for most women that happens almost immediately. Like within like
when you figure it out,
a handshake, you're like, this person is, you at least put them in the, okay, this person I might be interested in having sex with. This person is a definite no, almost immediately. For most women, not all, but for most women, I feel like it's usually almost an immediate thing. And you could be drunk or you could be sober. But in order to have sex, myself included, and so many other women, you must have some type of alcohol, some type of drugs, even something. So almost so it's like, okay, in a way.
It was when I asked my female friends, and like I said, I'm talking over 100 girls I've asked.
Right.
It's the high 80%.
Yeah.
Where
for sure.
Where every single time they had sex with a guy, the first time they were drunk.
Yeah.
And it's scary. Especially from a guy's standpoint, it's scary because like you don't want there to be misunderstandings.
Absolutely. And there is a lot.
Yes.
Even in my friend group, I've had girls that they're just like, oh, I was so drunk, I don't know about that. And I'm like, I thought that you liked this. Why'd you get so messed up? I know you just told me a couple of days ago you liked this person.
Yeah.
Now you guys had sex, you were drunk, and now you're kind of not sure about it. Whoa, what is going on? But because it's like, okay, if they were drunk and had sex, it's kind of like, okay.
You're trying to say that in her mind, because it's not that it doesn't count, but if she chooses to not make it count, then it doesn't count.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Or if the sex was bad, and they're like, well, I was drunk. So it's okay that it was bad. Okay. Or if they woke up and they felt kind of yucky, maybe he didn't treat them very well after, then they're like, well, he was an asshole, but I was drunk. So it's like, okay, it doesn't count really. So it's not a big deal.
Personally, I'm mortified of that. Like every time if I were to ever date someone and like the first time we have sex, I always set up the second date. I do not want to ever have one night stands. I really, really try to.
You've told me that before. Yeah, that's interesting because if I lived in Vegas, that's all I would do.
Because the reason why is because if I'm attracted to you, like, this is gonna sound kind of douchey or whatever, but like a woman's soul, female, or a woman's physical attractiveness does not affect me that much, I mean, which you can understand
because
at this point.
because you're surrounded by a lot of beautiful women.
So it's going to take one or two more things.
Yeah.
Okay? And if we get to that point where I'm comfortable having sex with you, then I don't just want to have sex with you once.
Okay.
That's just
fair.
that's the
like
way
that.
that's the way I look at it. There's very little, because I know a lot of guys that, you know, it's just kind of like this. Let me use this girl for sex and then move on. And to me, maybe that's weird. Maybe it's because I rescue cats or whatever. But like, I just
for sure it's because you rescue
the
cats.
idea that like I'm gonna like have sex with this person and then not call them again and then have them feel some kind of way when I easily could have avoided causing them this hurt. Makes no fucking sense to me. Right? I'm not trying to tell people, I'm not looking for true love or anything. But what I'm saying is I don't want to have sex. An idea of a one night stand just doesn't seem appealing to me.
I think sex is way better every time you do
try.
It should be.
It should be.
If you're doing it the right way.
But here's the other thing. The other thing that I found is that sober thing, or that being drunk thing, you can kind of get over it the second or third time. So now you're having sex with somebody sober for the first time, right? I do know some people that literally they can't even
come.
The two people you and I know both of them, so I'm not going to say their names, but they're huge influencers, both of them. And they did a video. Actually, I could probably say their name because they did a video about it where the guy said I'd never had sex sober before.
Yeah.
I'd never had sex sober before.
I want to tell you, sober sex is fucking wild.
Is it wild?
It's crazy.
I've never had drunk sex.
You have to make all these like conscious decisions.
Yeah.
You're in your head, but like in a nice way. You're deciding like, am I going to ride him like this? Am I going to suck it like this? Am I going to spit on him? Am I going to choke on it? And then you're like not in your head, but you're like making a movie in your head, and then you're doing it and you're making decisions. It is wild. I didn't know you could have sex like this.
So I'm
like choosing to have the sex the way that I want to have the sex, and I'm like coming better. It's incredible. Sober sex is awesome, but it's scary.
Yeah,
because it's kind of like a commitment.
Yes.
You're kind of taking on that person, not only physically but mentally too, because you're
the oxytocin.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's honestly wild. It's wild.
I know some people that don't like ever having. So you're telling me a story about something that's the only thing I've ever done. I've never been drunk before. So
you've never been drunk.
You know this. I've never been drunk before.
I
in my
didn't
life.
know you've never been.
I've never been drunk. I've never smoked marijuana. I've never done anything. So for me, I've always been sober. And then you know, it's just one of these situations where I keep hearing these stories, and then like, well, once we go out for a while, and then I'm like, okay, let's try it where you're sober. I want you to be sober. Like, this is crazy that you have to get drunk every single time.
Right.
But I'm so used to being around people that are drunk and taking care of them. Like you, on several occasions, I made sure that you made it home alive.
Thank you.
Without assaulting people. We can definitely talk about that. So here's the thing: you are doing a podcast. And it's with Kayla Lauren.
It's with Kayla Lauren. Yeah. Oh my God. Love it. It's called Inside OnlyFans.
Inside OnlyFans.
Yeah. I am so excited.
I'm excited for it too.
Yeah.
Everyone has a crush on Kayla Lauren. And
I have a crush on Kayla Lauren. Oh my God.
There's this thing about, and if she hears this, don't get mad at me, but we were at a party. We were at an Ignite party. She was on a date. I think she was on a date with someone, and she came and hugged me. And I'm sure in her mind it was a friendly hug.
Right.
And to me it was a friendly hug because she's so far out of my league. I never would consider she'd want to go out with me.
Of course, yeah,
but she comes up and gives me a friendly hug, and to other people around it didn't look that way.
Okay.
And I don't think her date thought it was that way. And she looked at me and I was like, what's going on? Do I ask you out now? I don't understand what to do. But obviously,
did we just have sex? What's going on?
Are we dating? I'm confused. But she's amazing. And I here's the thing. I've never heard her speak long form. So I'm excited about your what you're gonna do, what you guys are gonna do together.
She has a really sexy voice.
Does she?
It's so sexy.
No, I mean, I've heard her voice, but I've never heard her. I want to hear her go on for an hour about quantum mechanics or human psychology or something like that.
She does touch a little bit on human psychology, of course, because it's the Inside OnlyFans thing, and there is absolutely a psychology to that. There's a certain kind of person
there sure is
that's gonna end up doing that for one reason or another.
Sure,
so she does flex her muscles a little bit. So you'll have to tune in.
100%. I'm very excited about that. So
Inside OnlyFans.
So actually, before we get to that, there's one other thing I want to go over. evolutionary psychology, which is one of the things I love talking about the most.
Okay.
And you talk about how scary it is being sober, having sex with a guy for the first time.
So scary.
Right.
So scary. One of the scariest things I've like ever done.
If you were to read evolutionary theory, have you ever read Why Women Have Sex or the Evolution of Desire?
You have recommended it to me, and I have read it. It has been some years.
Yeah. So in any two gender species, one of the gender, the one that has the more to risk, has to be the more selective of the two genders,
Which
right?
is a woman. I think we can all
Of course.
agree on that.
Well, I mean, it's not just that; it's science. They have a bigger sex cell. The egg is far larger than the sperm, right?
You have to carry the
and you have to
baby,
and you have to carry the child,
stuck with
and
us.
you don't have to worry about fecundity. You know it's your child, right? You don't have to worry about, oh, I got cheated. No, it's your kid,
Right.
Right. So in those type of situations, it's so much worse for a woman to have sex with the wrong guy. And again, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about pre-Pleistocene Homo sapiens. We're talking about cavemen and cave women.
Right.
So the idea of evolutionary theory is that 700 or 400, however long you think when we bifurcated into Homo sapiens. Well, however long Homo sapiens have existed, or go back further, all the way back to Australopithecus, which was about 2 million years ago. Hominids, what they would do is the females would choose the best mate they could, and if they choose,
that would protect them the best.
and if they choose wrong, what happens?
They would die.
They die.
They would die.
So just imagine you're a woman out, you're dating, and you pick wrong. You pick the guy you think is rich. He's fake rich or whatever.
Right.
But you don't just end up sleeping with some douchebag with a fake watch and a rented Lambo.
Right.
You die.
You die.
You fucking die.
And your children die.
And your children die. So
everyone dies.
Everything is counting on you getting this right.
Right.
So you wonder why women have the fear when they have sex with the first time. It's evolution that causes that fear. I'm glad that there's one of the two genders that's picky. Because if they weren't picky, we'd all have AIDS. I'm just telling you right now, we'd be living in a fucking cave right now if women weren't picky. I'm glad women are picky. That's awesome. And I tell guys this all the time. They're like, yeah, I went to a club. This super hot girl just came at me and was like ready to go home. I'm like, hold up. Wait a minute.
Right.
Was she asking for money or did she have an Adam's apple? You got to chill, bro. That you should, as a man, you should have to work for it.
Right.
I'm going to tell you right now, you should
agree.
have to work for it.
I
Unless
agree.
you're super famous or you play center for the Lakers.
Right.
You should have to work for it.
Right.
If I don't have to work for it at all, that scares the shit out of me.
Exactly. It's scary. How many people has come before you that she just like come on in. Let's get together.
Well,
That's scary.
Tupac said, I don't want it if it's that easy. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Right. So I love that. I love
to
that.
live by.
But that's where that feeling comes from.
Okay.
And now you like this guy.
Yeah.
You want to have sex with him, but you
Right.
still have that feeling.
I still have to make sure that he can provide for me and my potential offspring.
But you don't
in the
have
cave.
to. But see, okay, the cave woman does in your
Okay.
brain.
Yeah.
But CJ Sparxx does not have to.
Yeah.
Because
I actually. What do you mean?
But
okay.
no, hold on. CJ Sparxx is aware of contraceptives. CJ
Yes.
Sparxx is aware of the pill. CJ Sparxx is aware of Plan B. CJ Sparxx is aware of.
I still need to have sex with like a worthy man.
Agreed.
Yeah.
No, that part I'm talking about. I'm
Okay.
talking about caring for your children.
Yes.
You don't have to have a child with any guy.
Yes.
But do you understand that your body does not know that?
Yes, I actually do. And I actually understand that, ladies, if you're not sure if you want a relationship yet, you shouldn't let him sleep over. You shouldn't sleep over at his house. Get that Uber to go. Do
Kick
whatever
him
you
out.
need to do. Get out of there, because is it dopamine gets released when you sleep together, when you sleep like
So
you're
when
sleeping
you
next
when you
to
have
one another.
sex afterwards, it's a release of oxytocin
Yeah.
that seems to be stronger in females than it is in men. Men have more tryptophan after they have sex. So yeah, I mean, definitely, I found that to be the case too. What I found that also works just as well is fucking honesty. Like a blunt dose of honesty. Like
People can handle it,
the
though.
girls have, maybe we've had sex before, and then we go on and we maintain a friendship for
Right.
10 years.
Right.
My favorite thing is like I date a girl. I'm very honest with her. Like I don't want to be in a committed relationship. She's like, okay, that's cool. She starts dating someone else, and then she asks me for advice about the new guy she's dating, and I'm very happy to give it to her
Right.
because we're still fucking
You're
friends.
very happy to give it to her inside and outside
Okay,
of
here
the
we go.
bedroom. Here we go.
CJ Sparxx, ladies
He's
and gentlemen.
giving it to you.
CJ Sparxx, ladies and
Yes.
If it looks good, she's got. So this is the first time she's podcasted with the
No,
the
I have
headphones on.
headphones.
It looks good. Okay, all right, it looks good. There we go. Beautiful. I just want to make sure. I don't want you to get mad at me later, being like, oh,
Thanks for giving it to me, Michael.
there you go. Okay, there
You're
we
the
go.
best.
That's going. That's kind of weird because you're like my sister. All right, so let's talk about this. So now we've gone back there. I love the evolutionary psychology stuff. By the way, if I ever come on your show, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about Evo Psych. That's my favorite subject to talk about
Okay.
when it comes to dating.
Okay.
Now. You have the podcast with Kayla, right? I'm excited to hear it. And so you and me this morning, we were talking about hot girl history.
Yes.
So we're going to discuss a little bit of hot girl history right now. All right.
I love this. Do you guys have that little banner that can go across like
What about
hot girl history?
Hot girl history. So hot girl history works like this. For those of you who don't remember, because a lot of you, anyone who's under the age of 25, you're not going to remember this. You're going to just think the world was always the way it was. So I'm 43 years old. So let me tell you, when I was growing up, if anybody go watch the movie Swingers. At the end of the movie Swingers, the main character, he goes to a bar. He sees the most beautiful woman he's ever seen sitting at a bar by herself, and then they end up dating. This does not happen in 2021. We can all agree that. Like, the super hot girl is never sitting by herself at a bar.
Or if she was, she'd be on her phone.
Yeah, or she'd be on her phone, exactly. So before that, there was none of that. You would go to a club or some kind of dance place, and they would play. Sometimes they would play, get ready for it, live music. It's fucking crazy.
Oh my God.
And there would be a dance floor, and you would actually meet people on the dance floor, and then, or you'd sit at a table and you'd order alcohol from a waitress. Everyone would order alcohol from a waitress. That's the way it would work. You'd go to a club and you'd meet a girl at a bar, or girls would meet guys, and they would go with their friends to meet. That's the way it would work. Even with like Studio 54, there was no bottle service. Now, in certain cases, yes, in Ibiza, I believe there was bottle service before this, and there was certain cases in some places where this happened. But the idea of VIP bottle service did not exist fully until 2004, right around that time. I've asked several of my friends; they don't remember it before 04. Now I'm selling a $26 bottle of Grey Goose for $500.
So crazy.
So you wonder, where do these mega clubs come from? They come from the reason why XS exists, Marquee exists, the reason why Omnia exists, the reason why all these other nightclubs exist is because you can make a $65 million nightclub is because now I can sell a bottle of Ace of Spades and it's $6,000,
so
$10,000.
And we just accept it.
We're
like, yeah,
but before 2004, there was none. So what did a hot girl have to do? She had to go to the club. There was no such thing as the hot girl not going to the club because there's no Instagram for you to post on.
Right.
If you were hot and you had a really awesome dress and you got a blowout, you have one chance.
Yes, this is your one time.
You got to go to the club, or at least you got to do some IRL, something in real life. Maybe you go to a car show or something like that, but you don't have a choice to not. And also, cameras at this time are big clunky things that use film. All right, we're talking about 85, 95, somewhere around that area. Okay, and then 2004, like we said, 3 huge things happened in 2004. For those of you who forget, right? 3 things. Number 1, HDTV comes off. Number 2, bottle service, and number 3, text messaging, which also has to do with this whole the hot girl thing.
Yeah, completely.
Text messaging was big in Europe before 04, but in 04 it became big in the United States.
Okay.
So now what happens 05 to 08, we have MySpace. And this is the first time now I can put low quality photos up. And now there were a few people that were famous on MySpace, but not a lot. There was one other thing that was happening. Reality shows were happening. This is the first time we started having celebrities that were famous just for being famous.
Right.
No other reason, right? This is Paris Hilton. And then we have a Paris Hilton sex tape, and we have Tommy and Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson. We have that kind of stuff. So you're famous for being famous.
Right.
There's just a couple things you do, still not really heavy on social media. MySpace was a very slow, clunky platform compared to what we have right now. But it's the first time where we had like pseudo celebrities, and in certain cities you were kind of a celebrity, right? You could become kind of famous. 07, this is where the big change happens. Facebook, or the Facebook app, goes on the iPhone. iPhone 1 is 2007, and now you have people who are really famous, really famous on Facebook. There's no Instagram at this point.
Fan pages. I remember girls were making $10,000 a month posting on some of their fan pages, and I was like, what is going on? They were like, we're posting ads. I'm like, ads, like the TV, like a commercial? They're like, yeah. And I remember thinking, what is that? And they were making so much money. Yeah. This was before Facebook started cracking down, like with rules and everything. I think some people were inadvertently posting porn for like a long time.
Porn on MySpace.
It's just like an advertisement for porn.
For sure. It was
making so much money.
Yes. And this was this is also the first point where you can go online and promote a party without calling people on the phone.
I remember that. Yeah, all those house parties. You just pass a flyer around on the internet.
This is the first time. So now the hot girl can kind of be famous. She still has to go out, but she can also post on Facebook or MySpace. There was a point where I was Facebook and MySpace at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
There was a point, right?
Absolutely.
We were kind of 50-50, right? So now we go forward. Now, here's the other thing. Technologically, the iPhone, the camera was not that great. You still kind of took shitty cameras. The best cameras, I remember, this is when the Canon 5D Mark 1, 2, and 3 came out, and these cameras were incredible. You could, because this is the first DSLRs where you could film.
They were huge.
Yeah, but you could film video and take photos with the same camera. The Canon 5D Mark 2 was like a game changer for everybody. And that's when first time I went to the Playboy Mansion, I had a Canon 5D Mark II.
Really?
Yes. But that's all the way to 2014.
Lost files.
Right. So now we're in a situation where now we're starting to get, the cameras are starting to get a little bit better. The MySpace comes out, and then we'll just skip a few things forward. But now we go to Instagram. When Instagram starts off, they could post nudity. There really weren't that many rules.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You were posting a square. It was super degraded photos.
Oh my God, filters on everything. Sometimes you can scroll back and see somebody's like their first post on Instagram. You're like, what is it? Like a sepia filter on it. You're like, why does this look like you're in the wild, wild west? What's happening?
Shout out to the Ludwig filter. Shout out to Ludwig for making your boy look brown. Yes. Shout out. So now Instagram comes out, and there was something about it, the simplicity of it.
Right.
It was simpler than Facebook.
Right.
But for some reason we liked it more. Before it even got bought by Facebook. And now people are specifically not only famous. So what happens is a famous person was taking advantage of their fame on MySpace or Facebook. Now you're famous just for being on Instagram.
Right.
This is the first time we see the first girl that I saw hit 1 million was JoJo Von Salty. Do you remember JoJo? JoJo Baby? You know who she is?
Yeah.
Okay. So JoJo, super ironic, totally random. I was stationed at McConnell Air Force Base in Wichita, Kansas, and she was 20 years old, and we ran in the same friend group.
She was in the military?
No, she wasn't in the military.
Okay.
She lived in Wichita.
Okay.
And I bump into her every once in a while.
Wow.
So
okay.
Eventually I move out to Vegas. She moves out to LA, and we just stay in touch. We stay as friends.
Okay.
She had, I believe there was an article written about her by some European magazine where she had a feature, and then she's like the first girl I ever saw hit 1 million.
Okay.
But she's from Wichita. And this is the other thing.
Yeah, that's wild.
This is the other thing where the game changes. Ready? Now you don't have to live in LA anymore.
Right.
You don't have to go to an audition with Wilhelmina anymore.
Right.
You can just be fine on Instagram and get discovered.
Yep. People will DM you all day with different paid opportunities and different things that you can go and do. Some of it you're just literally being paid to post on your
Paid
Instagram.
to post, bro.
It's not even you. It's just like, it's literally just like a commercial or an advertisement. That to me is so wild. It's crazy. And a lot of money, thousands of dollars. And I know back then, I think now it's kind of leveled out to where there is kind of some prices and different things across the board. But people were getting paid crazy amounts to post one post.
I remember this.
And it was so, like, every now and again, you'd see a weird post go up on your friend's page. You'd message her, what is this? Like, oh, it's just some company paying me to post. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Wow. How much? Oh, $10,000. What? For what?
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. It's really, it's quite interesting. I do want to point out though that, okay, so like the correct way to say it, it's not Instagram model. I don't think you're really saying that, but it's not Instagram model, because if everybody can just hear me clearly, Instagram's not paying us.
Right.
I've never gotten a check.
Oh,
from
got
Instagram.
you. Okay. Influencer. That's why we got influencer.
Influencer, or even content creator, because influencer is so, like there's like kids
It's
that
like
are
the word
like
entrepreneur.
50K and they're just like, I'm an influencer. And it's like,
yeah.
Okay. I can't even really say like, no, you're not. Maybe you are. I don't know. But yeah, content creator, I think, is like the new thing people are trying to go by. Yeah. Yeah.
So now we're in a situation where on Instagram, people are so the Instagram growth curve is happening. You know that if a girl gets on Instagram right now, she's really pretty. She works her ass off. She does 300 photo shoots a year.
Yeah.
She has very little chance of even hitting 100K.
Yeah.
The growth curve is completely fucking
It's
gone.
crazy. The algorithm is really, it's like a toxic relationship. You just keep like trying. You keep trying to figure it out. You kind of figure it out. You make a little bit of headway, and then after a couple of days, it's right back to where you started. So
yeah, it is. Isn't it nuts?
It's sad. Honestly, they've ruined it.
So we understand. You and I understand. I mean, if somebody from IG was here, I'd tell him to his face. Your platform was built off men looking at attractive women,
Right.
and you got all that content for free,
Right.
for years,
Right.
And your platform grew magnificently, and then those same things that you use to grow your platform, you are now shaming.
You're now shaming and trying to pull away from, and even a step further, you're punishing.
Yes.
Because there's so many different creators I know that are women that are in the porn industry as well, and they have the blue checks, which you're not supposed to be able to get deleted. And they just did, like a month ago or 2 months ago even, they just deleted just so many different people that were in the porn industry for no reason.
It's crazy.
A lot of these girls do porn, but they're not posting anything
But it doesn't
bad
matter.
out there.
The point of the blue check was to be verified. The point of the blue check was
Exactly.
not to be popular. So like, for
Exactly.
instance, there were at one point 7 fake accounts of me with guys fake accounts where guys were pretending to be me, getting girls to go to locations. Yeah. And I'm like, you know who needs a fucking blue check mark is me, buddy. Like, you might want to give me one so that so they don't pretend and then start going off to somebody else's house.
Out of safety.
I didn't get one because I'm not famous. There's no news. I mean, there are some news articles about me, but like,
I feel like you should probably just apply in the app.
No, I have.
That's how I got mine.
I have before. I may do it. I'm going to keep doing it just for you. I'll do it. But so we get to this point where the best argument I've ever heard, because it always sat wrong with me, but I heard Lindsay Palis say this, and then Emily Sears, I talked to her about it, and she kind of agrees. If Instagram, you remember back in the day, a woman would get raped, the judge would be like, what was she wearing?
Yeah.
Like 1950s, like they would shame the victim.
Yeah.
Oh, well, she got raped because she
was asking for it.
She was asking for it. Okay. Now, if Instagram tells you that what you're wearing is, if Instagram tells you that what you're wearing is not a lot of clothes, that's a factual statement. But if Instagram tells you that what you're wearing is sexually suggestive, they have decided for you that you are suggesting it's time to have sex.
Right.
Which is the same argument to me is she got raped because she was asking for it or because of what she was wearing.
Right.
It is not the place of Instagram to tell you when you are suggesting we have sex.
Right.
And so in doing so, and really, we know what you're doing, IG. You want to be more friendly for the advertiser.
Right.
You want McDonald's and Ford and Mercedes. I get that.
Right.
But the thing is, stop shaming. You shame them by saying what they're doing is sexually suggestive. It's so reductive, right? And the other problem. Well, anyway, you go. What do you think about that specifically?
I think it's horrible. But yeah, there's a new. I don't know. I think it might have been Lindsay Palis as well that I had seen tweet about that, and I thought, wow, I never looked at it like that. You know, even TikTok as well, because I've had videos taken down on TikTok. I was like in a bikini and I'm walking on the beach. I'm like, this makes total sense. If I'm rolling around in my bed and I'm in a bikini or I'm humping a pillow, you know, I mean, sure, I'm trying to push the bounds. Maybe I'm still clothed, but like, all right, if that you're saying that's sexually suggestive, well, I can't really argue that point. But if I'm just a woman on a bikini or on a beach in a bikini, come on now, you're going to tell me that I'm suggesting that we have sex? And it is just like you said, that what am I? So I'm on the bikini and I'm walking. So then if a man comes and gropes me or somebody comes and gropes me, I deserved it? Like, how far are we going to take this?
Even if you deserved it or didn't deserve it, you know who doesn't get to tell you you're being sexually suggestive? Fucking Instagram does not get to tell you that.
Right. I agree.
That's the problem. If Instagram wants to make specific rules, which they do not, they do not.
Every profile is different.
They want to ad hoc ban and not ban people for random reasons.
Yeah.
If they want to make specific reasons, then I'll go with that. But when you say someone is sexually suggestive, you're saying that because they posed a certain way that makes them sexually suggestive.
Or I'll do you one further, because their body looks a certain way.
So
like
that was
somebody with Lindsay Palis.
My next transition was, so here's the problem. So there's a study that was done, I believe it's in the book Evolution of Desire, and they talk about, there's a picture, it's a photograph of a man and a woman, and they are studying together, and they give this photograph to a bunch of college students, and the woman is of average attractiveness, at least that's what they wanted her to be, just an average attractive looking woman, and they show it, and like something like 60% of the men, they ask them, do you think this woman is attracted to this man? And the point of the photo was to be completely neutral. She's not attracted to him.
Right.
And like a few, I don't want to misquote it, but like 17 something percent of the women said yes, and something like 60% of the men said yes. That she was attracted to him.
Okay.
What happened when they made when they put same photo, but the woman was far more attractive?
Somebody more busty or something. Yeah, that she was attracted to him, that she wanted to sleep with him.
It got up in the 90%.
Yeah. Because she has boobs.
So here's the thing that's so crazy that I didn't understand. It's not just that you do something that makes a man think you're attracted to him. You being attractive makes you think you're attracted to him.
Well, it's the same thing as like if I do OnlyFans, you can sleep with me easily. Or if I do OnlyFans or if I'm nude on the internet, of course I'm sleeping with hundreds, if not millions of people. I'm sleeping with everyone I meet just because I am naked on the internet. Like if we sit and think about that, where is the actual correlation? I am naked on the internet and I'm easy to sleep with. I'm sleeping with a lot of people, more than average or whatever.
Right.
Where's the actual correlation? There's none. Yeah. You've just probably seen me naked at one point or another, so you assume that I'm sleeping around. But there's no correlation.
So I live in Instagram. I live in Las Vegas. I live at these nightclubs that you guys see fucking photos of, or I'm going to like catch or whatever. And I will tell you, it's a negative correlation. It's a negative correlation, because what happened is the most lascivious woman you have seen on your OF. Guess what she does all week? She stays at home with her cat, and she does live videos, and she doesn't have a fucking boyfriend, and she's in sweats, and she's eating ice cream and Netflix.
And she's working.
Yes.
She's not, and she's thinking, okay, maybe I'm going to go here with my girlfriends. I'm going to plan for this vacation, or she's just doing normal lady things. And then it's the woman that's in the turtleneck. She's a receptionist at, some car dealership. She's sucking everybody off in the back because she can't
Let me tell you about that
fulfill her sexual desires through the internet.
Turtlenecks to hide the muscles. I'm kidding.
I'm telling you though, those are the ones, my girlfriends that have these incredible bodies that they've, maybe they've had surgery, maybe they haven't, and they show it off and they love to show it off and be sexy. Those are the ones that go home alone. 9 times out of 10. And then my girlfriends that might not wear a lot of makeup and are dressing a little bit more subdued. Those are the ones that are like, that guy over there is getting laid tonight, sucking him off in the bathroom in the next 5 minutes. This one over here, I called this other guy, broke it off with this one, calling this other one. It is crazy. It's crazy. But because they don't have the hair and the makeup and the titties out, everyone thinks, oh, that's the good girl. Oh, Shannon, she's quiet. Don't talk to her. She won't give it up. Talk to the one with the tits out. And it's like, no, yeah. So I don't know why that happens because it is so true. And so many of my friends who are performers and content creators. We talked about
this once. Do you remember? You asked me one time. I was like, I bring you up all the time. This one story that you and I had. You and me were sitting. I think we're getting ready to go to Babes in Toyland or somewhere at your place. And we were talking, I brought up, do you ever remember the story when I told you about the doctor in Des Moines? I said, CJ, there's a guy out there that would worship the fuck out of you. And he's tall and he's good looking and he works in Doctors Without Borders and he lives in Des Moines, Iowa. He's whatever. I'm making up a guy. That. I'm making up a guy, but there is a guy like that out there. And we were going to the Maxim party at Palladium. I remember this. And I looked at you and I go, he can't get into the Maxim party.
I don't care.
Hold on. He can't get to the Playboy Mansion.
Call me up.
He doesn't know, but you think so, but it doesn't work like that because when you first meet him, here's the problem. Because we're going to get to the dating in LA, dating in Vegas. Okay. One of the problems is, maybe we're not talking about you, but if we talk about your friends, you'll agree with me.
Yeah.
There are guys who have that magic formula. Pull up with the Lambo. Yes. We're going to have dinner at this nice spot. I'm not even saying that they're sugar daddies or anything like that.
Right.
They just know this correct. They're so good at that first date. They're better.
It's the same song and dance every single time, girls. So hello.
You're in a city with a bunch of men competing for these attractive women. The guys who are going to do bad. You know what the worst guy to date is? The guy who's really good at the first date.
Yes.
The guy who's really good at the first date.
Because he's done it 100 million times.
100 times.
Why do you think he's so good?
If you go hire somebody who's like, he's been working for whatever job and he's in his mid 30s and he's been fired from a bunch of companies and you go do the interview and it's the best interview you ever seen in your life, it's because he's good at doing interviews. Right. Because this motherfucker gets fired all the time. Right. So this is the same thing when you ladies go, bro. I mean, I'm telling you, these first date things that these guys do, they're so fucking smooth and polished. They come out there. The chef says, by the way, this is what happens to me. If you go with me to a restaurant here, the chef's going to come out and say, hey, Michael, what's going on? And hug me. And the whole thing is just this ambiance because I go on a lot of dates.
Right.
But I will tell you, man, that when I talk to women and they're like, the really pretty ones go home alone, I'm telling you, this is what's happening. What's happening is there's one reason why I want to have you on the show. Okay. You're really pretty, so pretty that it's the point where I can't hear what you're saying. Not me. I obviously can. I'm one of your best friends. I, as a dude, can't hear what you're saying because you're so pretty. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I want to hear what you're saying, but I didn't even know you were saying it. Okay. Right. So that's why I want to do this long form content because I tell some of my female friends this, and I know somebody out there is going to be mad at me for saying this, but listen to me. Listen, you can listen to me or you can disagree with me. You're just going to be wrong. The fact of the matter is there are so many beautiful women out there and like they're so beautiful and work so much on their physical attractiveness that when a guy meets them, they can't hear. You have that second master's degree. I can't hear this. Yeah. They're not paying attention. One of the gifts, I call it a gift, is that because I host so many of these events, physical attractiveness does not affect me that much. My heart rate does not go up. I love Lindsay Payless so much. She's such a great person. But even though she's so beautiful, when she walks in the room, my heart rate doesn't go up. But when my guy friends see Lindsay Payless, bro, they're like,
freak out.
My female friends are like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. When I first met her, I was just like,
she's so perfect, right?
But
it doesn't. But like after a while of doing these interviews, it doesn't affect me so much. So
I think what you're saying you're saying that in a nice way too, because you're able to tune into what they actually have to say because you have done this for so long.
Dude, because I love listening to Lindsay. I love because I can get past that first thing because how stunningly attractive she is. And then we start talking and then she gives me this insight about Instagram. It's like, fuck yeah, man, I never thought about that. Right. Emily Sears is writing a book about feminism. I didn't know half the things that she was talking about before, but now I listen to her. Even though she's stunningly beautiful, because I'm around so many attractive women, it doesn't affect me so much. It is kind of an art. It doesn't affect me so much, right? You know, Kennedy Summers has an MD now. She's a medical doctor, bruh. Like, I mean, but you don't know that. She's a playmate. That's all.
Yeah.
It's just reductive,
Right.
reductive thinking, right? So anyway, back to what we were talking about before. Let's get up to OnlyFans. So we're going through the timeline, right? Hot girl history. Instagram, we have these huge influencers, right? Like let's talk about Blazarian. Dan, what he did was so interesting. I was watching. I was like, man, this stuff he's doing is crazy. And I was peripherally. I mean, I've met Dan maybe 8 or 9 times.
Right.
Peripherally outside of it, a lot of the people in his photos, I knew these girls. I knew some of these people. I kind of understood behind the scenes of some of the stories, and I went to all the Ignite parties. And when I was there, I was like, one of the things I was thinking is, would they let him do this again? Would Instagram let him do this again? And the answer
I don't
is,
think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No.
And that's unfortunate.
Absolutely not. And not even Instagram, the times.
Yeah.
The times have changed.
And I can't wait to read his book, to be honest with you.
Yeah, yes.
You know why I can't wait to read his book?
Are you in it? Are you going to look for your name?
How many times? I'm sure I'm not.
I'm going to be in it.
I'm sure I'm not. You think you're going to be in it?
I'm absolutely going to be in it. I'm on his Instagram. I'm doing like a naked flip or something.
I think there's going to be a bunch of stories that you and I have.
We're gonna
like what we were at that party.
We were there.
We were at that party.
We remember seeing this.
I remember this party. I was at this party. I think that's gonna be interesting. But yeah, they wouldn't let him do this again, right? He would, and that's the thing. In YouTube, there's a guy named PewDiePie. You know PewDiePie?
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
PewDiePie is never. There's never going to be another PewDiePie.
Yeah.
YouTube is never going to let somebody get organic growth to 1 billion subscribers ever again.
Ever.
You remember? You remember Jenna Marbles had that one video,
yes,
right, about how to look pretty or whatever.
She has like one like a homeless person look, and then she has a hot girl look,
like
and then that was it.
100 million views.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, YouTube saw that and they're like, how can we sell that?
Right.
This is what happened in nightclubs after 2004. They were like, look at these guys going up to clubs. They're good at talking to girls, and then they get the girls and leave with them. How can we sell that?
How can we capitalize off that? Yeah.
Bottle service. We'll have guys literally bring the girls to the dance floor tables. That's how do we commoditize this thing that existed. So now let's talk about the commoditization of one other thing, and that is the sexuality that we did see. The attractive women that one other thing. I forgot to say this. These thoughts keep coming up in my mind. To some people, you are offensive because you're attractive.
Yes.
You
correct.
Agree with that, okay?
1000%. Yes. I just woke up and I am offensive just sitting here breathing.
That is one of the points I'm always trying to make. It wasn't that, because you see a lot of TikTokers and they're like very young and innocent, and they don't seem to get banned off TikTok for some reason. But a woman with curves, she is offensive to some people because she is attractive.
Yeah.
Because she looks feminine.
Because I have curves, I am offensive.
Therefore, you are offensive. This goes back to what I was saying before.
And I'm sexually suggestive just because I have curves.
She walks and exists in the shape she's in, and therefore she is sexually suggestive. This is a lot of things. Like, as a man, I don't have this issue. I don't get looked at this way, so I don't really understand sometimes. When I see that, and then I hear that point of view, and I'm like, holy fuck, man, I didn't even think about it like that. How difficult it is.
Because
and every time
exist.
you come up, they just beat you down. They take away your account. They all this kind of stuff, and it's crazy because now from 2012 to like 2019, your living was coming from Instagram, and then it's like, no, we're going to take it away because you look too sexy.
And the messed up thing about all that is that Brazzers is allowed to exist on Instagram. I believe Brazzers has a verified account. OnlyFans itself is on Instagram with a verified account.
Yeah.
So these things, once again, it's not across the board. Me, CJ Sparxx, I've lost my account 5-6 times. You've been with me where I've lost it, and I was super upset, and it's so frustrating. I was trying so hard to get it back. I'm on my second TikTok account. They've definitely shadow banned me there. I'm shadow banned on Instagram currently. All the fake accounts that are of me come up way before my actual CJ Sparxx verified account. But this is a thing that also angers somebody like myself, somebody like Lindsay, probably somebody like Emily. Why is Brazzers allowed to exist on Instagram and their account is fine? Why is Playboy? Why is Penthouse? They're not getting taken down.
You want the real answer?
Well,
because they are name brands you have heard of that probably pay for advertising. And if you pay for enough advertising, like, you understand, there's enough money you could spend on IG where it'd be like, oh, here's your blue check mark. Oh, yep. No, we're not going to take your account down ever again.
I know about that. There's still so many. I have so many of my girlfriends that will message me because I have the check, and they'll say, hey, did you pay somebody? Like, do you have PR? Like, what's the deal?
Do you believe anyone can do that? Do you believe that you can pay someone to get a blue check?
1,000%.
You can. Okay.
1,000%. Absolutely.
Because I've heard mixed signals. I've heard people
you can 1,000%. Okay. You think literally you give the right person anywhere from $10 to $10,000, and there is a man or a woman at Facebook who will flip a switch, and you're verified.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's not a literal light switch, but it's a button.
Because I had heard
somewhere.
so many people get
It's not like
scammed.
heavy lifting.
Because I'd heard so many people get scammed.
Oh yeah, I've been scammed.
Yeah, so I didn't
scammed.
know if it was even real. I thought it was just like random. I didn't know.
Here's the thing: it's a third party.
Yeah.
It's like me. Oh, my cousin works at Facebook. He'll turn on, so many different accounts or whatever. I'll run the ring of like, okay, give me $5,000, and then I'll give my cousin a cut. He'll get 2.5, and then I'll get 2.5, and then off we go. I mean, that's some stuff like that is probably not going to last for very long, but usually that's what these are. Somebody just has an in at Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not somebody.
It's good. You hearing that? Because I honestly thought every one of them was a fucking
It is 1,000%. That's 1,000% true.
Okay.
And anybody that says that's not true, you don't know what you're talking about.
I believe it.
You don't know what you're talking about.
The official position for Instagram and Facebook would be like, no, there's no way you could pay to get a blue check mark.
Of
But
course.
I agree with you.
Of course.
Okay, so let's go. Now we're in present day now.
Okay.
Now we've figured out how do we commoditize all these beautiful women on Instagram. Instagram is now punishing them. How can we take advantage of it? Oh, and COVID shows up. What is the thing that then erupts?
Yeah, OnlyFans.
OnlyFans, go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know when I first started OnlyFans, I was coming off of my webcamming thing. Webcamming is so hard because you have to be there, present. You want to wake up, you want to put yourself together, you want to pick out your outfit, you're maybe doing like a little dance routine, or you're on there, maybe you're talking, you're telling jokes. You have to really be present. Webcam is a hard job. I don't care what anybody says. That's such a hard job.
I think I accidentally went to the bathroom and walked.
You probably did.
That was a very awkward moment for the two of us.
I was like, tip.
She just stayed.
Tip.
She tips. Like, I think she's topless and she's facing away from me, and I'm walking into the bathroom and I'm like, CJ, you okay with you? Is your back okay? What are you doing? Oh shit, she's webcamming. Fuck.
I'm trying to make a living, Michael. Get out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I probably made more after that. Those people are sick. Love ya. But so anyway, so the thing about it is that's such hard work, right? It's such a grind. Stripping, dancing is really hard work. You have to be there physically. You're moving your body. It is physical labor. I don't care. I will fight anyone who says different. I don't care whether you agree with it or not. That point is disconnect from that. It's a hard job. That being said, OnlyFans comes, and like you said, COVID came not right after, but like a few years after, when it was still picking up steam. And we're finding out as pretty girls, we don't even, like, I can be in my sweatpants on the first day of my period. Shout out to the first day of my period, because we all know you look crazy, you feel crazy. I could be eating an ice cream. I could have my hair up. I could stink to high heaven, and I'm on there going, yeah, baby, give it to me. Oh yeah, that's such a hot pic. Oh yeah, tip me 5, tip me 20, tip me 100. Oh yeah. And I have all these incredible selfies in my phone that I have taken, or my tits are huge because I'm on my period. And so I'm like, yeah, like shaking my tits. People are going wild. This is incredible. This is crazy. And the guy at home is like, oh my God, I am getting to sex with CJ Sparxx. She's probably sitting there in her super tiny bikini. She probably smells amazing. She like just finished a workout. She's all sweaty because of course she works out in her super tiny bikinis. And I am chatting with her right now, like as if we're friends, as if we're boyfriend and girlfriend, as if I'm the next door neighbor. Maybe when I see her the next time, maybe we can carry on a conversation in person because I already know her and I already have this
sense.
You've
seen that happen though, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I have a lot of fans that I've known even for years now that I took from webcamming to the OnlyFans and to.
I met some girls that were on OnlyFans, and guys tipped them so much.
Yes.
They met them in person.
Of course.
And they started dating.
I have. Well, not the dating part.
No, they started dating. My homegirl, that's her boyfriend. Like he's a.
God bless. That's every man's.
Not just one. And then of course, what is the first thing this guy wants this girl to stop doing?
Are you kidding me?
Of course. He wants her to stop doing OnlyFans.
But you want to know why, though? Because he has a skewed view of it.
Of course he does.
Because now he thinks that she is going to potentially leave him for another fan.
What do you think my life's like? I host bikini competitions. I meet a girl at a bikini competition. We start dating. Guess what she doesn't want me to do anymore?
It's kind of ridiculous, though.
Yeah. I met you at the strip club. I want you to stop stripping.
What do you say? Because I actually went through a horrific breakup, and it was because of OnlyFans. Okay. Well, he'll tell you that I'm the only one with the issues. Just me and my OnlyFans. Just walking down the street with all our issues. He doesn't have any. However, that was such like a big. That's crazy. A lot of these women it seems like their boyfriend helps them. He's their number one fan. He takes every single photo. He's like, yeah, bend it over, arch that back, spread it. or he is in the corner sobbing uncontrollably, going, I just wish she would stop the OnlyFans. She's like filming me now on the live stream and people are tipping because I'm crying and shaking in the corner. Yeah, like
my boyfriend's crying in the corner.
Yeah, tip for this. And he's just like, get off the OnlyFans, baby. Why are you doing this to us? So like there's no in between. What do you tell? I'm so curious. What's like your go-to for these women that are like saying, oh, I love you so much. I just care about you. And I just want to be just me and you. And you're hosting these bikini competitions and I'm sad. What do you say?
The answer, and we've talked about this before. I pretty much can only date women who like women.
Oh, that's right.
So if we're dating and I make you a judge at a bikini competition, if we're dating and I make you a judge at my bikini competition, does that make you feel good or does that make you feel bad?
It makes you feel good, I think.
But a lot of women, it does not.
Really?
So I would only be with a woman who would want to come with me to the Playboy Mansion.
I think that's smart.
With me. Yes. So
you're avoiding a lot of conflict,
correct.
Right?
And then
there.
the rest of the girls, I'm just friends with. Like I have a ton of female friends, so it doesn't really bother me.
What did he tell us to do when we were?
Can we? There you go.
I don't want to flip the bird, but just.
There we go. I see it. Beautiful. Thank you, brother. So your OnlyFans podcast. So now these girls start making a boatload of money. For those of you who don't know, real talk, I'm sitting next to influencers. I won't say their names. One influencer I was seeing, and she told me at the first 3 months of 2021, she cleared $1 million. So she's going to clear about $4 million this year.
And a lot of these women aren't taking off their clothes.
This girl in particular is a fitness model, and she has never shown nudity.
Yes.
This makes some girls so fucking angry when I say
I am angry.
Yes.
I am angry.
And then another girl who, I mean, you guys probably figure out, I'm also really close to. She crossed $1 million while we were at dinner a couple weeks ago.
Oh my God.
And she again has implied at the most. Never done anything else.
These pictures are so hot, and for sure you don't see them anywhere else. I really want to be clear because I am like a member of some of these women's OnlyFans, and it's still so incredible. Like you still get like a really good, you're seeing completely different things in their Instagram. So they're really good about that. But it's not nude. It's wild to me.
So now we're not nude. Now let's talk about the other side. I have a friend. She is probably making more than either of the first two girls that I just made.
Wow.
And with her, it is sex with husband and one girl, sex with husband and two girls, sex with husband and three girls. Then it's sex with husband with another guy there and three girls. Then,
good God.
Then it is the midgets. Then it is sex with two transsexuals, her and the husband.
Oh my God.
Then it's the two transsexuals, the fuck machine and the husband. Then there's the tentacles. Then after the tentacles, there's the midget. And she just got to she is better at OnlyFans than I am at anything in my entire life. She is better at OnlyFans than OJ Simpson is at chasing white women. She cranks this motherfucker up. It is so crazy. She is so crazy. Like she has to keep turning it up. Now for her, that's work.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Of
like,
course.
When I see, I'm like, because I talked to her, a few times, and I'm like, I'm always just amazed because she's such a smart businesswoman. I mean, this girl's making so.
It's innovation. Yes. Once again, if you agree with it or not, it doesn't matter. It's innovation. Yeah.
If you're watching this and you have a problem with anyone who has sex with someone they're in a consensual relationship with, and selling that video on OnlyFans and making money, you have a problem. You have like a serious judgmental issue. If someone wants to have sex with their lawfully married husband on camera and sell it on OnlyFans, and people are willing to buy it so that she can pay for her fucking kids and her house, you are the one. I'm sorry, you have a problem. Again, even if your morality says that what she's doing is wrong, it's not your business. You literally have to go through the Instagram, then hit the link, go to the link tree, then in the link tree, then go into the OF, go into the paid OF, then put your credit card in, then buy her shit, then see her having sex with her husband, and now you're offended. Right. Bro, come on, now chill.
But there's so many people that do, Michael.
Yes.
You're really open-minded, so there's so many people, and they have less issues. They take less issues with men. God forbid you're a woman.
No, that's true. I mean, you see, my IG is pretty crazy, and I don't get anywhere near like it's. So I work for a financial firm, and they don't care at all. Like, I mean, maybe they do. Actually, financial firm, please don't pay attention. on Instagram.
Cut it.
But no, I mean, I work with a stock option brokerage. I work with a financial firm, and then I host these charity events. Sometimes they're for domestic abuse or animal rescue, and nobody ever looks at my IG and they're like, oh, I can't work with this guy because of his IG.
Exactly, because you're a man.
It is. And to be honest with you, I got away with stuff on TikTok way longer than you or kindly did.
1,000%. 1,000%.
Okay, before we go, there's one thing I do want to talk about because I'm very passionate about this, and this is dating in LA versus dating in Vegas. Okay, by the way, I do want to have you on again.
Okay.
At some point, so we can talk more about OnlyFans. I would love have you and Kayla.
I was just gonna say, let's get Kayla too.
And then we can you can film one of your episodes here with you guys.
Yeah, I would love that.
Dating in LA versus dating in Vegas. Now,
we were just talking about
I'm going to let you go first because you know the fucking hellstorm I'm about to bring down. Go ahead.
I personally think, so we were talking about this in the car. I personally think that I think LA has more beautiful women. I do, but you had a good point that you were saying per capita. I also think that LA probably has more men that are kind of lying and trying to say and put on a facade rather than just saying, okay, I'm not a rich man. I'm not like billionaire, millionaire status, but I'm comfortable coming to my nice, like 3-4 bedroom home over here with like, maybe I have 2 cars and I have like a little bit of extra money. We can go to Nobu on the weekends. I think that probably there's going to be more men that are going to be a little bit more comfortable in their stature here in Vegas versus LA, where I feel like men, if they want to make you think that they're a millionaire, billionaire when they're driving a Bentley and they're going back to their 2-bedroom apartment that they share with another grown adult man. There's so much of that, but they take you out to the really nice restaurant in the Bentley. The Bentley's on E. The credit card might decline at the nice restaurant. They have to like pay with a few, but they're thinking, okay, now I am worthy of like this woman or getting laid or potentially dating this woman versus here where it's probably just more like, this is kind of what I have to offer. You can take it or leave it type of a thing.
You can try to pretend, and then you get to that bottle service, and the waitress comes with that fucking check, and then you can keep pretending all you want. All right, look at me in the camera. Let me explain something to you about Las Vegas, Nevada. No one is here to lie to you. No one told you that the table dances were going to be free. No one told you that the bottle service you were going to get at the nightclub was going to be free. No one told you any of this shit was going to be free. No one told you that dinner at Nobu or Mastro's was going to be free. We told you before you came here, you were going to spend some money to come here. No one is fucking lying to you. The women here cannot, this is, obviously you're an exception. The women in Los Angeles have to be pretty on camera. The women in Las Vegas have to be pretty in person. You are not getting hired at Wet Republic because you're pretty on camera. You are not getting hired at Encore Beach Club because you're pretty on camera. No one here is lying to you. Say whatever you want about Vegas. Say whatever you want about leaving your morals at the door or whatever the fuck you want to say. No one here in Las Vegas is lying to you. We told you were going to have to pay for this. We told you. And then you paid for it. And you had a good time. You had at your bachelor party or whatever. You came. You bet. You said the Indians were going to win. They lost. Sorry, they're not called the Indians anymore. They're called the Spiders, the Guardians. You said the Guardians were going to win. The Guardians didn't win. And now you have to pay up on your bet. You don't get your money back. Nobody lied to you here. In Los Angeles, I have never met more motherfuckers saying I'm an entrepreneur who have no money. Entrepreneur in Los Angeles means I just took my investors' money and went to Tulum with a bunch of girls. That's what it means. I have never met a city with more people. Again, there are magnificent people in Los Angeles, okay? The incredible charities that I get to work with, and those people are fantastic. I'm just saying, per capita, I think there are more better looking people in Las Vegas per capita than in Los Angeles because you can't fake it here. There's no fake. You can't fake like you have money here because you're not going to make it very far.
I have to agree. Yeah. I have to actually agree with
you. And you
can't
fake like you're good looking here because we're going to see you in person. And so because of that, it's a lot actually more aggressive. And I will tell you, one of the difficulties of living here is that like the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life, I see her every week, every night I go out and I'm like, that is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. And then I'm like, that is the most beautiful every week. Because here's the thing. We in Vegas, we don't need to go party in LA. We will sometimes, but we don't need to. There's no billboards here in Vegas for us to go to Warwick. Sorry, we don't.
Wow, that's interesting. I actually never thought about that.
But you want to know what you'll see on Sunset Boulevard? You will see Hakkasan, Omnia. You will see those places. You will see XS. Why? Because people in LA want to come party here with us. That's the way it is.
And to touch on what you just said, they expect to come and spend money. But when they're in LA, I've never heard more men Like, oh, can I come to your, like, if I say, oh, I'm going to go out to a club, they know, okay, it's probably going to be me and a couple of my influencer girlfriends. I'm going to have a comp table. And they'll ask, like, oh, is it comped, or is dinner comped? Or I've even had guys ask, like, oh, can you get me some free Botox? And I'm just like, what
guys
is going
are
on?
asking for free
But then,
Botox.
but then those same people, they know coming to Vegas that they have to spend money. They know. So that's actually really interesting
because we kind of screen it out.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's why
men in LA want things for free just like the women. I'm like, wait a minute.
It's why I love living here. I'll tell you a couple other things. The difference between, if you are a low level promoter in Los Angeles, the likelihood of you getting into a party where Kanye West or Drake or Kim Kardashian is like, it's not super high. I'm not saying it won't ever happen, but you got to work, bro. You got to sell some tables. You got to do something. You got to really come up.
Yeah.
For you, I have friends who live here who are the biggest degenerates, sleeping on couches, like C-level promoters, dating playmates. In Los Angeles, like what it is this is, by the way, same way in New York. In New York or Los Angeles, the triangle is like this. There's these people up at the top with $50 million, and then everybody else is way down here. In Los Angeles,
and they're living off the person at the top. They're living off the person at the top. Men and women.
And in Las Vegas, it's this flat triangle. Like it's very like from the top. Like you can live here for 6 months and then you end up on stage at Excess with all the same celebrities that you've always wanted to meet. They're all up there with you. You can live here for 6 months. You become a promoter or host, and next thing you know, you're at Reliant Stadium. Allegiant Stadium, hanging out there in the VIP section.
Right.
There's no problem at all. It's incredible. So like that's why I love about the city is that it's so flat. Now I will tell you this. My main issue with Vegas dating here, my main issue with Los Angeles, number one, it's the traffic. It actually isn't the women, it's the traffic. I can't stand your traffic.
Really, but it's bad.
It's horrible.
Too.
You meet a girl, you live in Santa Monica, she lives in Silver Lake. Great to meet you. We're never gonna have sex. Just forget it. We're never ever gonna meet with each other. Except what? Babes we're gonna see each other, Babes in Toyland, the Ignite party, or we're gonna see each other at the Maxim party. Other than that, we're never gonna see each other. Right. In Las Vegas, I never have this problem. For me to get from Henderson to Summerlin's not even like 20 minutes. It's super easy. So that's what I do like the traffic is the number one thing I cannot stand about that city. The other thing is your nightclub scene. It's a cool nightclub scene, but it's not fun. No. And I don't mean to anyone who I love Highlight Room and Avenue, like those places. They're cool clubs. I'm just saying there's so much staring at your phone.
There's so much staring at your phone.
Yes.
Recently, I've been going to more house parties.
Yeah. Those are fun. House parties in LA are incredible.
They're so fun. This is like a brand new scene for me. They're so fun. People are talking. I think because it's like a curated event.
Yes.
So if you meet one or two people, you're like, wait a minute, is everybody going to be this interesting? And everybody's so cool. And you're like, wow, this is really nice. But at a club, 1000%. Everyone is staring at their phones.
I have never seen so many people trying to look disinterested in their life.
Yeah.
When I go to a club in Los Angeles, and I've never seen door guys. Again, no offense, some of the guys are cool, and they're cool to me because I know them. A lot of them from LA. But when I see, and it's not their fault, but I don't mean to criticize them. But door guys in LA, I have seen them be so fucking rude to people. I cannot believe. I've seen it in Chicago too, by the way, and I've seen it in Manhattan. But I've also seen it in Miami. Yeah. The door guys in Vegas, they can't be rude to you. Like no matter what you say, whatever you want, they're just gonna call security. Sorry, sir, you're gonna have to get out of here.
Right.
They're never gonna. And then when you go to Omnia and you see that big alien fucking thing, that chandelier drop from the top, there's nothing in LA to me that compares.
No,
to
there's
that.
nothing.
Nothing. So to me, that's why I like it here. I can have more fun for less effort, and I'm around more attractive women much more easily. That's the thing I like about it. The hard part about living here is there are so many dudes in the city who screw it up for the rest of us because they go talk to girls and they just lie, bro. It's just like, hey, listen, CJ Sparxx, I like you. I want to be in a relationship with you.
They tell people
where you and I do not have sex with any other people. And then when you go to work, I'm going to go have sex with other people behind your back.
There's a lot of that here.
I'm not saying, it's so frequent like that. And when I see that, I'm like, man, bro, like she was gonna have sex with you anyway. Like, why did you have to lie to her? Like, because now what happens is because I always say this. I'm telling to you, it's not the cheating, it's the lying.
I agree.
It's not the cheating, it's the lying.
I agree. Just set me up for success. So if you don't want a relationship, I think most girls, even too, it's almost a turn on. It's like a turn on. A lot of women won't admit it, but when somebody says like, oh, I don't know, I don't really think I'm like into a relationship, or I don't really, I'm seeing a few people right now. I just kind of want to. Right? Yeah. Is that what I'm doing? That's right? Because women, we always think, oh, maybe if I just like nurture him a little bit more, maybe if I just give him a little more sex, then he'll like me. Or like we're always trying to figure out ways for, if we like you, which I'm assuming most people are enjoying your company. So it's really interesting. I think that could probably even backfire on you or be like a good game if you're a guy and you want to have a lot of women after you. Just tell them you don't want a relationship.
How about this? Just blunt honesty.
Yeah. You win either way.
Yes.
Because if you don't want a relationship, if you truly don't want a relationship, then no harm, no foul. And I always try to encourage people, you really should try to leave people better than you found them. Every single time. You will never lose by doing that ever. But also, so if honesty, then you win because you were honest and you're like, okay, babe, I was honest. Or if you're not honest and you kind of do want a relationship and then you do get the woman that's kind of willing to work a little bit harder for you and put in the effort, that's got to be hot too. Tell me that's not hot as a guy.
No, for sure.
Yeah. Then so it's like, oh, babe, you did it. We got the relationship. We're in love now. Woo-hoo-hoo. So it's like you win either way. Just be honest.
Well, you win either way, except for the fact that you're in Los Angeles and Las Vegas, and trying to have a relationship in these cities is a fucking disaster.
It's
like
tough.
no matter what you do, it's definitely easier if you're in a different place.
You need to get somebody from another state.
Oh no, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Somebody that's kind of almost like fresh off the boat and everything's still new and exciting. I could understand why these men in LA love like these Russian women or these Asian women or even these Latin women that come in and they're just like, and everything's brand new and they're like, let me take you to Nobu, and she's like, oh my God, this is like where Kanye and Kim go and all the celebrities here. And they're so grateful. They go to Forever 21. Here's $200. Oh my God, they're so grateful.
You try to set a girl in Vegas up with a comp at SDK, and she's like, why? Like
she's like, yeah, I have to
know
get
the
dressed
owner.
up for this.
Fuck you, I know the owner.
Yeah,
I don't need a comp for the like. You try to walk girls who live here. It's like, oh, we're gonna go on stage at Access. I'm like, I don't need you.
Even for me as a woman, I want to date a guy, especially after going through my horrifying breakup. I want to date a guy that like thinks I'm cool.
Yeah.
I don't want to date somebody that thinks I'm like a bad person because I have an OnlyFans or because I'm nude on the internet.
I wanted you to put this interview on your Tinder profile. That was the point of me doing this, was so that you could find someone who was cool.
Oh my God, so I could find true love. You're the best, Michael.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
On Tinder.
All right. So you have a podcast coming out.
Yes, I have a podcast coming out. It's me and Kayla Loren. I think Kayla on Instagram is Kayla Loren Official. Me, CJ Sparxx. It is called Inside OnlyFans. We are going to be talking to many of the top OnlyFans performers, not all of the top. We're still working on getting a few of the bigger ones. We want to get some really big ones. We were talking about earlier, like
I'll get them for
the
you.
tentacle lady and
I'll
everything.
get them for you.
Like I saw a lady with 2 vaginas. There's a lady with 2 vaginas. We want to get her on. But we have some of the top performers on OnlyFans in the LA and the Vegas area, and it's done so well. It's cut up professionally. It's not done like in our room or in our home or anything like that. There's like a whole team.
There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to start doing a podcast, do it. If you got to do it in your fucking room, do it in your room. When I'm tired of people who do 3 podcasts, they never come out, and then you're like, well, I have to edit this. Stop doing that.
Well, I have to say, as far as women, I think we should kind of show up, because I think sometimes too, this is more of a male dominated space. So as women, if we want to do something and we want to kind of be taken more seriously, we have to put forth the extra effort. And that's okay if you need to shell out a little bit of money or save for it or whatever. But definitely if you're going to do something like a podcast, try to do it right. Definitely do it as well, but try to do it right. Get a team behind you and put it out and do it well and put it out right. That way you have a really good reception. So Kayla and I were fortunate enough. We partnered up with Abstraction Media, which is a media space out of LA. And so we're having people, it's done super professionally. It's been such a labor of love. It's called Inside OnlyFans. So of course it's something that I know about, something that Kayla knows about. We're both on OnlyFans. All of our hot friends are all on OnlyFans. So it's pretty much Kayla and I talking to all our hot friends. There's men and women on there, and just kind of dishing all these different secrets, talking about all these different funny stories, kind of what led us there. It is a true inside look at OnlyFans, which is such a hot topic because you know the creators, you've seen their work, you've seen what they do. Yeah, but you don't really know kind of what goes on behind the scenes, because you already feel as though you're getting in behind the scenes, but there's stuff that goes on behind the scenes. So that's what we are. We're filling in a niche, and it's super, super exciting because it's super funny, but it's also very informational. It's just a more in-depth look at everybody you already know and love. So I really hope that everybody likes it. I'm really excited to debut it.
I truly can't wait.
Yeah.
I love the fact that people I know are getting podcasts. It's just the thing. It's so much more information that I can get.
Right.
That's just so terrific. And having you on here, and getting a perspective, right? I've learned things about you, and you and me been friends. We talk all the time.
Yeah.
So this is really awesome. I'm happy, again, the spectrum, right? I had an F-18 pilot on as my first guest. I had Jesse Preston, who was, you were Playmate also. Jesse was a Playmate. Got John Orlando also coming on. John is freaking great. Listen, by the way, if you believe that the earth is flat, I'm talking to you right now. If you believe the earth is flat and seriously would like to debate that, I would like you on this show. I'm not kidding at all. We will have you and an astrophysicist. And if I can't find one, I will be the astrophysicist. We would love to have you on the show. I really want to make this a wide spectrum of things.
I love that. I'm honored to even be, I don't know those names, but I'm sure they're all very smart people that have no idea who I am. So I love that. I love a hodgepodge because I think we as a society, especially with social media now, we're all into a bunch of different things. I think that's one of the reasons why Joe Rogan is so successful, because you kind of had him in this one box of, this announcer guy who's really into sports, but then you see his podcast and you realize he's like this weed smoking, hunting, super introspective
But it's not
individual.
even that, it's his curiosity.
Yeah.
His curiosity is the star of that show.
And I think a lot of us have that same curiosity, but especially when it comes to OnlyFans, maybe you're too intimidated, or somebody that's an astrophysicist, you don't even know where to start. What do I say?
Once again, if you are an astrophysicist or you have a master's in astrophysics, I would very much like you have on the show to have you opposite of Nicolette Shea. That's what I would like, is for you get the joke. Nobody
I'm
else.
into it.
I would love. Would you like to watch
into
Nicolette
it.
Shea and an astrophysicist? I would think that would be the greatest podcast of all time.
I feel like she'd just be like,
Really? Tell me more.
the person would be just like,
love Nicolette. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, we've gone way over. We are so glad that you guys are joining us. Please, guys, go on Facebook. I'm sorry, go on Facebook. Go on YouTube. Go on Spotify. Go on Apple Podcasts. Please subscribe. Leave me a rating. Let me know what you guys think. I am here. Give me the suggestions. Let me know if you like this better on video. Let me know if you like this better on audio. Share it. Share it with your friends. CJ Sparxx, you absolutely need to follow her. And Kayla Loren Official. Trust me, if you're not following her, your boyfriend already is. So you need to make sure you check her out. Good night, gentlemen and ladies.